What's up, everybody? Hello. Sorry for the delay. Um, yeah, to be fair, I don't think I've ever been late on any of the other streams that we've done. So please allow me this one. I wish I had a good excuse other than user error. Whenever things go wrong, most time it's user error. So what had happened was before PAX, before the launch of the Guvile pack, I had to enable the QA test branch so that I could create some content before it was actually launched. And then I went to PAX for a week and on vacation for 2 weeks and haven't had to load the game at the office. So I was sitting here for 30 minutes like, why is the server not loading? And well, you gotta be on the right version. So keep that in mind. Learn from my mistakes. But we're here. That is the important thing. So I'm excited to be here with you all. I'm just going to publish our tweet and Facebook post right away. Let's get those out there. All right, so we have VirtualFarmer with us. And let's go ahead. You can't hear him yet. But here in a second, you'll be able to see him. So let's see. Oh, now you can hear him, and now
I can hear.
Now you're about to see his avatar on screen. Alex, how in the world is your hair like almost exactly like it is in the game? I want to know.
I don't know. There are many things through previous versions of Farm Sim that. Oh, can I hear you?
Yeah, you should be able to hear me. I'm here.
Yeah. Good. Yeah. I'm just turning my camera around so that everybody can see your wonderful face as well. Yeah. No, it's there are many things that I think Giants have built for me over time. One is the avatar in this game because it's almost perfect. I mean, people think it's uncanny how it looks like me. And then in FS19, they created start from scratch mode, which was exactly how I was playing the realism experiment at the end of FS17. So, yeah, these little things keep happening.
So we've had two comments. First of all, on YouTube, Yoss said he has hair. And then on Twitch, Richard Dower says, wait, VF has hair? Of course, we always see you with your hat on, so sometimes we forget that, yes, in fact, I've seen him without his hat on in person, and yes, indeed, his hair looks, it's exactly what you see in front of you in the game right now. Like, it is this. That's his hair. Same color, same style. At TwitchCon, I saw him without a hat on, and he was pushing it back like, model style.
Yeah. It is. I think the face is a little bit rounder than mine, but it's not far off.
Yeah.
Not far off at all.
That's fair. Okay, so we're on your server, and you can tell us all about that in a minute. But first and foremost, because I didn't take part this past weekend, I want to know how much fun you had doing the Cactus Leipzig FSL tournament.
Oh, God. It was one of the craziest FSL tournaments I've had the pleasure of commentating on. We didn't have a single first other than the final, not a single match went to more than 2 games.
Really? Wow.
So every single match went 2 games through, but that does not mean that they weren't close. And we had so many close matches, and we had so many different tactics tried. And of course, the new rule came in that you could only pick a team perk once per match.
Right.
So it meant that lots of teams went bottleneck first game and then had to do a completely different strategy for their second game. And it just made everything really, really intense and really, really interesting with lots and lots of new tactics.
Okay.
Coming into play.
I like the sound of that.
And yeah, it was just brilliant. Oh yeah, it completely put the cat among the pigeons. That cat among the pigeons, because yeah, everything went out the window, and we had no idea what tactic anybody was going to use beyond bottleneck. And it's opened up some really, really interesting stuff, and along the lines of, well, if one team picks this tactic, what's the best counter for it? And
Right.
and there's almost this rock paper scissors thing going on now, where teams are leaving it to the very last moment to do their team tactic pick, trying to fake the other team out into making a mistake that they can then put something else against.
Cool.
And it was absolutely brilliant.
Well, let's move on to this now, present day, and we're on Ebony Island as the map. We're on your community server. So tell us a bit about the server first and foremost. How long has it been running? What are you and your community doing on it on a normal basis, and what can we expect today?
So this is, so as you said, this is my community server. It's open to all my channel members, my patrons, my Twitch subs, and anybody who is an active member on my Discord. So anybody who reaches level 8 on my Discord by just chatting and talking and being a part of my community gets access to this as well. And we have a full set of farms on here. Each one has its own farm manager, and each farm manager can have people who come and work on their farm with them, or we get the odd person who comes on and goes, "Oh, I'd like to help out on one of the farms," and they can request to help out on a farm in the Discord, and more often than not, somebody is looking for some help. And all but one of the farms on here is active at the moment.
Well, that's cool. So people are asking, why are you not showing your face? Well, he is live on his YouTube channel right now. So if you want to go watch it from his perspective, please pull that up and do it. If you're not subscribed to him already, make sure you go do that. So all of your community streams are on YouTube for this server, correct?
Yes.
Because you do a lot of stuff on Twitch as well, but this specifically is YouTube content for you.
Yeah, so I stream 3 times, 3 times a week on Twitch. On a Tuesday night, I am building my dad's map.
Okay.
My dad's farm as a map for Farming Simulator, so I'm learning how to do mapping on a Tuesday night.
That's awesome, man. I look forward to that.
It's a lot of fun, and my brother, so my brother is a streamer on Twitch as well, called Reaver1979.
Right.
And so he's watching me build the farm that we both grew up on and that we've both farmed on, and it's great just seeing his reaction as this whole thing is taking shape. So I'm loving
awesome,
that
man.
On a Tuesday night.
That's really
then
cool.
normally on a Wednesday night and a Sunday night we do the realism experiment over on Twitch, which is my series where I just I add a load of extra rules to Farm Sim to make the whole thing more realistic. And then on a Saturday night, normally we do this and do the community multiplayer.
Well, yeah, so at first I thought, oh man, what have I gotten myself into? VF's gonna put me on the realism experiment. And it turns out it's the community multiplayer.
We did try a multiplayer realism experiment, and it worked to an extent.
Right.
So
this is something that I think maybe that we take for granted, but this may be the first time that some of your fans are seeing your avatar on a stream, because they're always watching the game from your perspective, and now they're getting to see your avatar. So we're having some comments about it. We have Rockin saying, "Ha, VF, your avatar looks splendid," in chat. So yeah, here you go. Exclusive first look potentially at the VirtualFarmer avatar. He's just missing the VF branded logo on the polo. He's got the color right. And if he had a VF hat, we probably wouldn't be seeing his hair as well.
At some point, I am looking forward to FarmCon, because I've got to find out who has got a bug to get some VF branded gear into the game.
You're not the only one, of course, that would hope for that. No. Who knows? One day.
I think there's several of us who want to try and put forward the idea of a creator's clothing back for the game.
Right.
I know DJ'd quite like that as well, I think.
Yeah, I think a lot of you guys would, of course. All right, so The community multiplayer streams, it's up to you to put me to work now, Alex. So
yes.
What do you want me to
do? We've got 2 jobs to do today. We need to seed field 144 and 139 with sorghum.
Okay.
And get that rolled in.
Okay.
And then our unnamed grass field around the corner here. This needs to be cut, baled, and turned into silage bales.
Ooh, okay. All right. I like that.
But I know you're doing silage bales with Twin Cab a couple of weeks ago, so we're gonna start with the seeding. So do you want to take the John Deere and the seeder, or do you want to grab the little Japanese tractor with the roller and follow behind?
You know what? You tell me what to do. I think I'd be cool with this John Deere, if that's all right with you. But
yeah,
feel free to tell me what to do.
I will jump in the little tractor. I'll probably have to go and grab you some more seed in a bit anyway. In fact, yeah, I'll go grab some more seed.
Okay, cool.
Because we are. I think you've only got half a. I think you're only half full in that. So I think another bag of seed, another bag of fertilizer would be a good idea.
Yeah, I saw it briefly before the synchronization. It's definitely not all the way full. I didn't catch. Yeah, I'm at 58%. Oh, that's fertilizer. 51% seed.
I'll take the Voltra and the flatbed then and go and grab some more seed and some more fertilizer. And then hopefully you won't run out by the time I come back.
Cool.
So it's the 2 fields. Field 144 and 139. They'd be merged into a single field.
144 and 139, I see. Okay. What's the best route to get there from here?
Round this way. So left out of the yard up here, and then a right all the way to the end.
Just DJ says just F12 it in. He won't notice.
Do you know what? This is a crossplay server, so there is no F12. It's not possible.
Oh man. All right, so you want me to go this way? You said.
Yep, go that way. Take a left out of there.
Okay, left down here. Gotcha. It's always interesting to like join you guys for these streams on a map that I've never played before. This is always the toughest part, is just finding my way around. Watch out, Kerm's driving, right? Tornado, right?
These should be wide enough to let you through. And then a right down there all the way to the end.
Gotcha. Perfect.
And I'm just gonna run the other end of the map and grab a couple of big bags.
Fair enough. We're planting sorghum, right?
Yeah, planting sorghum. Ewan, Bally Spring is not coming to all platforms, as far as I know. Yeah, Kermit is on YouTube. He's over on the Farming Simulator Community Corner channel. If you're going to go and check things out from his perspective.
Oh my God, it's Dave from G Portal. What's up, Dave?
Over on Twitch. Hey, Dave from G Portal. Guess what server this is running on? This is a G Portal server. Use code VF Gaming for 10% off.
Just plant the roads. You guys are like here for chaos, and I love it. It's always interesting, like, to be able to do these multiplayer streams, and you know, switch it up with the spotlights, because it's nice to be able to play the game a little bit here and there too.
It's one of the things I love about the community multiplayer server is the fact that I am able to play with the community, and there are people who play on this map 7 days a week. So the way that my server works is that it's a 24/7 server.
Okay.
It is synced to real time, and it's synced to do 8 p.m. on a Saturday night.
Okay.
Is midday on the first day of the month.
Okay.
So we got 7-day months on here.
Okay. That's cool.
And I see people coming on and playing all the way through the week, running their farms, doing various bits of work on there. The only rule we have on the server is that people can't do contracts.
Okay.
And that's simply because somebody who has a huge amount of time and comes on the server all the time will be able to do a ton of contracts, get a ton of money, and be able to buy up half the map.
That makes sense. I think that's fair for how you want it to be played.
And yeah, there's some really interesting farms running on here. Some people have just created giant fields they farm, and some people have just just doing lots of little fields, which is fantastic.
Right. Okay. Cool. Yeah, I like I used to do a server like this with my community when I was streaming on my own before I got hired by Giants, where you just kind of keep it running and have people jump in and out. I think that's a really fun way to play the game. And unfortunately, that was like before seasonal cycles were a thing in the base game. So it must be pretty interesting now, because I know like when I play with my wife in multiplayer, we've put it on 3-day seasons before because one day just never seemed like enough. Because for a while we were playing where we wanted to do as many steps as the process as possible. I wouldn't necessarily call it like super realistic. We still had crop destruction off and things like that, but we had pretty much everything toggled on. I think maybe we turned stones off. Maybe we had that on. I don't remember. But it was about having smaller fields and trying to do, the maximum rate for them to get the maximum yield. So we were rolling, we were mulching, and all of the steps required for that. And so it was quite fun to do that. So it must be pretty interesting to be able to have console players playing like this kind of style now, that they can have seasonal cycles in the game.
It's one of the things that as soon as the possibility of a cross-play server was announced with FS22, immediately I said, right, the community server will absolutely be a cross-play server. I wanted to have as many people have access to it as possible.
Right.
And it is a little bit odd for me because there are certain script mods that I've come to rely on a lot.
Right.
So quite often on the server, I will jump out of the tractor and go and try and manually attach stuff to the back. Because I am so used to the manual attach mod that it's just second nature at this point. And then I'll get on the server and I will go, oh no, I've got to connect that up in the tractor. I can't jump out and do that.
Right.
But it's a good trade-off for having, as many people have access to the server as we can. And the nice thing about running it 24/7 is that if people can't make a stream, or if they don't want to be doing it at the time of a stream, they can be on the server and they can run a farm, and they're able to join in.
Right.
And if they and it also means that the server is rarely absolutely packed during a stream as well. It's a 16-player server.
Right.
But we don't normally have more than maybe 5 or 6 on here at a given time.
Okay. So I'm confused why there's like 2 different textures as I'm planting on certain parts of this field.
That's a bug.
There you go.
That's a bug that came in with the last update to precision farming, I think.
Okay.
And it's to do with plowed fields.
Gotcha.
So that the top half of that field is plowed and is doing weird things with its textures. You'll notice the bottom field as you seed it, and you go past the bit where the two fields are merged, the texture tends to just settle down and stay the same.
Yeah, it's weird. Like one whole pass just now went all the way with like the this mulched texture, and then the rest of it is just like a seed bed texture. So definitely something that
It also
needs to be fixed.
it all sorts out when you roll it.
Oh, really? Okay.
You know, the only time it seems to affect anything is when you're if you mulch and then plow, is the specific instance of it.
Okay. Gotcha.
I keep meaning to put it into the feedback tool and forgetting. In all honesty.
I could do headlands, but you know what? Where's the fun in that? I'm challenging myself instead. I don't like my stuff to be planted in two different directions. I have a problem with that for some reason. If it becomes too much of a problem, I'll cave in and I'll do it.
I want the headlands.
Yeah. I know people in chat, you guys hold me accountable.
Yeah, I go through cycles of headlands and not, depending on how much space I have at the end of the field normally.
So far, I've been able to get it without too much issue. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes.
Park the seed trailer. Oop. Up this end here. Oh.
Yep. Hello, everyone. Welcome on YouTube and Twitch, and everyone over in VF's chat on YouTube as well. So you were like one of the
Hello,
early...
everybody on Twitch.
Go ahead, Alex.
Oh, go on. No, I was just...
You were one of the early guests on the Spotlight. I want to say you were the third guest overall, and I'm not sure... did we do that on like YouTube and Twitch for you? Because early on we did it more... okay, now I agree with you, chat. We're going to do a headland this direction because there's not as much space over here as there is on the other end. Yeah, so I'm trying to remember if there's a VOD of your Spotlight or not.
I'm fairly sure we did it on YouTube. I'm not sure if we did it on Twitch.
I feel like it must be on the main YouTube channel then, because it would have been before we switched to doing them on the Community Corner channel. Like Red Dirt Ranch was our very first Spotlight, and we only did his on Twitch since he's only a Twitch streamer. And at that time, I was basically doing it on the platform that the person did their content on. So there was even like 1 or 2 early days on Facebook. But yeah, so Jimmy's just doesn't exist anymore because the VODs at that time on our Twitch channel would only last for like a week until we got it verified.
Yeah.
But like, I like having the archives on YouTube now. The format's changed a little bit, but yeah, that's been a while now. It's been like well over a year since we did your Spotlight.
I must be. It's got to be closer to 2 years, because it was mid-pandemic, wasn't it? I think.
You're probably right. Have I been doing them for that long? I guess I have. I don't, because I joined. I'm guessing I did start them. You're right. Like right around the launch of 22 or so. You might be right about that. Okay. I'm giving chat what they wish for. by
Headlands.
doing the headlands, at least on that end. And this end,
Oh, you see, this is something that I always question. So I'm somebody who does the headlands last.
really, okay, interesting.
Yeah, because when we were farming, that was the way we did it. We always did headlands last. And
I see.
I suddenly got a flurry of questions a year and a half ago. Why are you doing the headlands last? You should do the headlands first. And my response was always, but then you're driving all over where you've freshly seeded. You know, why would you do that? And then
Right.
I found out that lots of farmers do. They just do their headlands first, and then they drive all over where they've seeded.
See, I was always under the impression that it was first, but then again, like, I never even thought, because it's a game, about the fact that you would be driving over them. But it's good to know that in real life, even they do it that way. So, personal preference, I guess.
I think a lot of American farmers, from what I understand, drive all over, or drive, over the headlands, do the headlands first.
Right.
Was my understanding of it, and it's more general in the UK to do the headlands last.
Okay.
But I did get a couple of British farmers turning around and going, no, we do the headlands first. So it could also be a more modern seeding technique.
Right. Someone, Jay Gaming in Twitch says, that's how we farmed when I was a kid. Headlands planted last and harvested first.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely how we did it. And how I do it on things like the realism experiment and things like that, I'll always plant the headlands last. And I'll leave about a tractor, a full length with the tractor putting the wheels to the edge.
Right. Okay.
I'll give myself that much space to turn around.
Headlands first is like getting fingerprints on stainless steel, says Captain Zach.
Yeah.
We have started a whole debate now. We always did the end rows last, says Terry on YouTube. It's interesting.
Yeah.
I was actually having a conversation recently about our game and about like real life farming. And this was with like a farm bureau here in the US. I was on their podcast called Dirt Road Discussions. And they were talking about Farming Simulator. And I don't remember if it's in the podcast or if it was like before or after we did the recording. But they were kind of intrigued by the game and like the fact that real life farmers play it. And they were like, so like real life farmers come in from like working the fields all day and still play your game? And like, yeah, indeed they do. And they were amazed by that. And one of the comments they had was like, do you think there's benefit in people from like all parts of the world being able to see like agriculture done in the game? And I think that's kind of proof right there, is just like the discussion that we're having about headlands. Like what I tell people when they ask things like that is, yeah, like obviously agriculture exists like in every corner of the earth. Like we have to feed people everywhere. So farming exists pretty much everywhere there are people, but it looks different in one place to the next. Not necessarily even like country to country, but like in the U.S., for example, state to state, or smaller regional areas compared to others. I've been on farms now in Kansas and Nebraska, and those states border each other, but it looks completely different with how they're doing things, So it's a thing that I love about my job, is being able to experience that, because my agriculture knowledge didn't start, like my experience with it and my joy of learning about it didn't start until I discovered Farming Simulator in 2016. So, and now I'm obsessed with like learning as much as possible about it.
Yeah, and I'm the same. So a lot of my farming knowledge is based on English farming from sort of 20 or nearly 25 years ago at this point.
Right.
And so I enjoy watching farming videos, and learning not only about farming here in the UK, but because I do uh, American maps from time to time. I like learning about American farming as well. And you watch stuff and you get this huge variation
Right.
in methods and techniques and actually going to Horsh for FarmCon 18. That was a real life eye opener as well, because there was all this information there about how all the actually stuff that's since coming in the game in precision farming, how the more you turn the earth, the worse it is for the environment and all that kind of thing, and then all the techniques that they were having for disturbing the earth less as you go into doing into working and planting crops and things. And so not only are the techniques different area to area, they're constantly evolving as well.
Right. Yeah.
And it's just a really interesting thing to follow.
It is. And like as technology like grows, that changes a lot of it too. And I know there's like some features that exist now because of technology that didn't exist even like 5-10 years ago. And so of course, like one of the biggest things that we're asked to add into the base game, and I would love to see it one day, is some sort of GPS, because that's become such a huge part of real life agriculture. And of course, we have the mod, which is awesome. That's the great thing about our user created content. But not everyone is able to experience that, as we see here on your crossplay server. You've kind of had to leave those out so that a wider variety of people could play. But it's going to be interesting to see, like, as the technology in real life agriculture grows, like how it can help us within the game and change too. So hopefully we can start to replicate some of that stuff within the game, make it possible in the base game. But there's always the amazing mod community too to put a lot of that cool stuff in.
Yeah, GPS, well, no, actually, it was manual attach. That was the one that really amazed me. How quickly that got turned around and released for FS22 was amazing. I think I was out within like a week of the game being released, and then GPS was not far behind. And GPS was out within like about a month, I think.
That would be cool. Jay Gaming on Twitch says, I can get you into Heartland Farms in Wisconsin. They're one of the largest farms in the country. Lots of cranberries and potatoes.
Oh, wow.
That would be really cool. I'm guessing that Fisher J is bringing me some fertilizer.
No, I think he... Oh, no, he is bringing you some fertilizer, yeah.
Cool. I never got the seeds as well. I'm guessing they're sitting over there, though.
Yeah, they're sitting on the trailer as well, yeah. I am just not doing headlands.
Cranberry spiders are such a great video. Oh, man.
Cranberry spiders.
That's probably... Oh. It's not that far from me either, I'm sure, being in Illinois. Part of the reason that we chose this location for the U.S. office is so that we could be close to states like Wisconsin and Indiana and Iowa, Nebraska, Kansas, the entire Midwest, but also kind of be centrally located almost. It's like east of central U.S., but O'Hare is a pretty good airport in the senses it's easy to get flights to everywhere from there. So
I was gonna say this is the thing, being from the UK. I don't think people here realize just how huge the States is.
No, I don't think
because
you do.
you could drive one end of the country to the other here in a day.
Right.
And that is, and having been out there that is just not a thing.
No.
There are some states you can't even do that in.
In fact, there's a funny story, like I'll just tell it in brief. I'm pretty sure I told this before on the stream. When I used to stream on my own channel, there was a guy that I got to be friends with, and he is from the UK, all right? In fact, he lived in Norwich for a while. He doesn't live there anymore. I don't think he's from there. When I knew him, he was actually like living in Cambridge. Anyways, I'm a huge football fan, or for my American soccer. And so I think because I was so into it and he wasn't, he thought I was British, even though I clearly don't have a British accent. He thought maybe, like, I don't know, my parents were in the US military and for some reason I grew up in the UK but just didn't pick up the accent. I don't really know the reasoning why. But I was talking on my stream one time about, like, being a kid and having to drive 4 hours to see my grandma, and he was like, where in the world does she live that you had to drive 4 hours to see her? And I was like the next state away. He was like, wait, you live in the US? I'm like, yeah, I do. And it was all based off of the fact that, like, I drove, I said that I had to drive that far to my grandma's, and so you're right. Like, people don't think about, how far it is really to drive across the U.S. In fact, so my wife and I just went on vacation, okay? And we drove about 9.5 hours. We went to Dollywood, which is in Tennessee. And we drove 9.5 hours. And on that drive, you pass through, we start in Illinois, you pass through Indiana, you're briefly in Ohio, and then you drive through Kentucky, and then you're finally in Tennessee after that. All right? And so some of the things that are in that area of Tennessee are similar to Branson City, which is in Missouri. And Missouri and Illinois border each other in, like, the southern part of it. So I was like, oh, maybe we should think about going on vacation to Branson. It might be closer. Just going based off of, like, them being bordering states. I looked, it's about the same distance of drive. It's still about 9 hours away. Like, you just don't think about things like that. The distance. When we were at PAX East a couple of weeks back, a lot of fun, by the way. Jenny, formerly of Giants, she now has left the company to pursue other things. But it was her first time in the U.S. and, like, her only experience of U.S. was Boston and the surrounding area, because we drove out to the suburbs to, like, an IKEA to pick stuff up. Yeah. And even that, she was just like, I was like, what's your first opinions? And she was like, why is everything so big here? And, like, Boston is actually a rather small area. Like, the city itself is surrounded by water on a lot of sides, and, like, so there's not a whole lot of space in Boston. You could go to other places in the U.S. and feel like it's even bigger. But she was like, we were walking and there was, like, a massive parking lot, and she was like, you just wouldn't even see, like, this parking lot in Germany. Like, why is this parking lot so big? Like, why is it this massive and not being used? You just have so much space that you're not using.
See, my only experience to the States is Las Vegas, which is probably the fakest experience I could get.
For sure.
But we did go off the strip, which was interesting. That was, yeah. And then trying to get a taxi from somewhere off the strip back onto the strip was impossible, because nobody gets a taxi anywhere other than the strip in Vegas.
Right. Yeah. It's going to be interesting. TwitchCon US is in Vegas this year. I'm guessing that we'll be there again. I don't know, like, 100% sure that we'll be there, but that'll be an interesting one for sure. Especially,
I did have a look. I had a look at the flights and everything, and I think I worked out, just for me to fly out there for a weekend, it was going to be something in the region of about £4,000. And I kind of went, I
Yeah,
can't really
not just the
do
flight,
that.
but like hotels,
Yeah,
I'm sure.
hotel and yeah.
Yeah.
Paris might be a little bit more doable.
Yeah, but to be
But,
fair,
yeah.
Amsterdam, in my opinion, I've been to both, Hendrik. I would take Amsterdam over Vegas personally any day. I'm not a gambler, so I think that's part of it. But Vegas is also, at least Amsterdam has like hundreds of years of history, whereas Vegas is just like rather new in comparison.
I was gonna say, Vegas has hundreds of years of other people's history.
Yes,
It's
exactly.
probably really a
Yeah.
Where can you see the pyramids, the
Yeah.
Sphinx, the Eiffel Tower, and the Arc de Triomphe all in one place?
Mrs. Kerm agrees with me on Twitch. My wife, hello, Mrs. Kerm. She says Amsterdam over Vegas all day.
Amsterdam was so much fun.
Yeah, it was fun to be there for TwitchCon. Although it was a bit strange because I don't think that it wasn't the same city as I had been at before COVID at that time. It's probably bounced back even more since then. But yeah, it just seemed strange to be in Amsterdam and like everything was closed at 9:30, 10 p.m. when we were trying to get dinner and things like that. There weren't a lot of places that we could go to. Someone, I've lost it now, but someone said that they can leave their house, drive 800 miles, and still be in Texas as well. Like, we're not like, yeah. You really want to put something into perspective? Texas is definitely. I've driven through Kansas like more times than I wish to, like from east to west, and that state, when you drive it east to west, just seems like it goes on forever.
Yeah, see, so I went for my day job last week. I was up in Yorkshire, so I had to drive up to Yorkshire for the day, and that was a 6-hour drive. And yeah, I drove halfway across the country, and that was a long, that was a long drive. That was,
wow, yeah.
I'm going a long way from.
It's a long drive for a Brit, at least.
Yeah.
Yeah. By the way, Mr. Alan K, thank you for that raid a bit ago. Sorry we were in conversation, so I didn't get a chance to say it when it happened, but thank you.
Do you like this little Izeki? Izeki, I think it is.
Can we tell people how before the stream?
Oh God, yeah.
Before the stream, I already talked about the issues of why we were late. So the issue was, if you missed it briefly, it was basically I had to do content before I went to PAX, before the GuVile pack was released. And so I had the QA test branch as the version of the game, and I didn't think about it because it's kind of like in the background if you don't load the launcher. If you've played it on the Giants version and you've switched at any time to the QA test branch, you'll know what I mean. I think we did that for some early access and stuff, so only some partners will know what I'm talking about. You can also roll back versions that way, so maybe you've done it for that for whatever reason. Anyways, found out I had it on the wrong version, and so before I went live, I was explaining it to Mr. VirtualFarmer here, and I was like, oh, this is what happened. I had to create content for the GuVile pack, and he was like, the what? And I was like, yeah, the GuVile pack, and he was like, oh, has that been announced now then? And he was like, oh, wait, you mean Go Wheel? Like, yes, Alex, it's called GuVile. He's like, I thought you would just leak the new DLC there for a second. He was so excited. Guys.
In my defense, it wouldn't be the first time somebody has told me something that they possibly shouldn't have. And that I've then had to go, yes, I know nothing about this thing that's upcoming that I've been told everything about.
Yes.
And sworn to secrecy.
So I'm one of those like really bad tourists, Farmer Kev, because we were just talking about Amsterdam. So I've only ever been to Amsterdam. I've not been to like anywhere else in the Netherlands. So I don't feel like I've fully experienced that country. And I can also say the same about the UK. I have only ever been to London. So I have not properly experienced the entire country there either. I've only gone to the biggest cities. Like I know that they're like a microcosm of the entire countries as a whole, but it's expensive to travel and there's only so much to do. But to be fair, I will visit VirtualFarmer one day in the near future and he can tour me around because I have family that live not far from him now on an Air Force base in the UK. So I have multiple reasons to visit the area at some point.
I've got DJ and Farmer Cop. I think it's Farmer Cop.
Yep, Farmer Cop
coming over to the UK after FarmCon. I'm going to meet up with them, which is going to be awesome.
Michael, this isn't. Sorry, VF. Real quick, I want to answer this. Okay. Michael, if you're in the Farm Sim Discord, please find me that way and send me a message because I would love to discuss that with you and help you out. But like in the middle of this stream is not exactly the best or easiest place to coordinate something like that. So feel free to reach out to me on Discord, and I would love to talk to you about that. Oh no, DJ in the UK, Tornado says on YouTube. Yeah, they're going to come visit
talking
you.
About, they are, and talking about, distances and me thinking something's a long way and someone from America going, oh, that's not that far. Want to go and visit Clarkson's farm.
Right.
Clarkson's farm shop. And I looked at it and went, oh, that's a 4-hour drive. That's absolutely miles. Which of course, to me, yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, that's halfway across the country.
For me, that's a trip to grandma's growing up, so it's wild. And now,
Jonathan Mabry, yeah, you're absolutely right. London is in no way a microcosm of England or Britain. Yeah, I lived in London for 10 years. London is a whole separate country.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But in my defense, although it's getting harder to admit this year, I am a Chelsea fan, so it was like a dream of mine to go over there and see a match. So I was only ever going to go to London my first time visiting the country. It was the first time I had ever been to Europe, and I've only ever been there now twice, and the second time was last year for TwitchCon and FarmCon. So unfortunately, kind of expensive to travel. I have a long list of places I would like to see. My wife and I really want to go visit Scotland and Ireland as well one day, and so many other places in mainland Europe. But yeah, it's impossible to cover them all.
Scotland is absolutely beautiful. I've been fishing up there for salmon about half a dozen times. So it's not the cities that I've got to stay in. It's the big country lodges that have and then you're sitting on the river on the side in the Scottish countryside, and it's just amazing.
Yeah, I've been.
And also drinking whiskey from using the water from the source river that they made to use the whiskey is just incredible as well.
Yeah. No comment for me, but yes.
Drink responsibly.
Catch me on my own channel if I stream again this year, and we can talk about that.
I am in no way endorsing that.
Yeah, I would love to visit so many places, and of course, like I know the UK community are really wanting us as a company to get out to events across the UK. So maybe I can even start visiting you guys over there even more if we can find cool events to go to. But to be fair, I think that they would send Chucky and Lars first because they are in Europe already. It's a lot easier and cheaper for them to get there compared to me. So, but at least I would love to see us doing events whether I get to go or not.
I think a lot of people would like to see Giants at gonna get the name of this wrong now because I've never been to it. Llama, I think it's, or Larma. The big agricultural show in the UK.
Okay.
Personally, I'd like to see Giants at the Norfolk show.
Yeah, so you don't have to drive So you don't have to drive a massive 2.5-3 hours to get to an event.
Exactly.
You live in a pretty rural area, so a long drive to you might be like getting to town.
Oh god. Yeah, it's half an hour to my nearest. Well, it's half an hour to Norwich from me.
So Giants were at an event in Brighton last year, but that was like more of like a business to business event. It wasn't like a gaming convention. It was meant more for industry people to like. It was a job fair basically. So it wasn't like a usual like community driven event like a TwitchCon or Gamescom PAX or whatever, you know. So we have done stuff in the UK, and it would be cool to see us do more, and other places too. Like I know like we've got people in these chats right now from all over the world, so who knows?
It is the one thing I miss about the FSL at the moment is that of course we do everything remote now. But I did used to enjoy traveling around and getting to see more of Europe and
Right.
you know, going to places that I probably would have never gone to if otherwise. I mean, I don't think I'd have ever gone to Poland if I hadn't gone there with the FSL. You know, it's not somewhere that I'd considered traveling to.
Right.
And it was really nice to go there and to see somewhere, you know, a little bit different.
Yeah, traveling I think is like a really important thing. It's hard because it's hard to afford, especially traveling from here to Europe and vice versa. But if you can afford to do it, I highly recommend it. Not just for like getting to see it and experience it in person, but I think just to have the feel of like how life is different kind of puts it into perspective that really we're all just trying to make it on this giant rock we call home, and it doesn't really matter where you live. Most of us want the same things, you know. We want peace. We want to be able to love our loved ones and family, and you know, have an enjoyable life basically, no matter where you are in the world. So it's definitely an important thing, and I'm blessed that I get to travel because of this job, because it definitely allows me to do a lot more traveling than I ever would have been able to do on my own. Like I never would have, if you had told me just like 3 years ago that I would be visiting farms in the Midwest, I would be like, what? Why? That's crazy. But it's been really cool to see that as part of my job, to be able to get to these farms, and I hope to do more of that in the future. And then the gaming conventions as well. You know, I'd never been to PAX East before. I'd been to the other PAXs on my own, but yeah, getting to go to Boston for the first time last month was cool. So,
and I think for me it's made me more confident as well, because you know, having to go somewhere and go, right, I've got to meet up with people, but I got to get myself there first.
right.
And I didn't quite realize how confident it had made me in that until I was sorting out my FarmCon travel this year, because it was immediate. Right, what airport do I fly to?
Right.
Okay, how do I get from that airport to somewhere where most people may not actually travel to, because you know it's not a main tourist destination.
Right.
And can I get a hotel there? How close can I get a hotel to the venue?
Right.
And you know, doing all of that research and not being fazed by it, not finding it was a daunting task. Was you know,
right.
A nice realization.
XR, I would love to come to your farm one day, and then even more so than that, I want to get this pizza. I want to take the drive to this pizza shop as well. Even more so after Dave from G Portal got to experience it a couple of weeks ago, and told me again how good it was. I'll put you in a gleaner and send you off to harvest. Man, you've got a lot of faith in me, XR. I'm not sure if it's warranted, my friends.
I'd be in heaven. Shove me behind the wheel of a combine. Yes, please.
Thank you, Fisher. I bit off more than I chewed trying to pull through there with these hedgerows. Scooter's Pizza, yeah.
On this one.
I gotta have it, man. I've got to experience this now. Oh, it was like, are you chasing me, Fisher?
He's following in his little Massey.
Let's see if I can remember how to get back.
So these hedges are the ones that Alien Jim did.
Okay.
And they're basically trees.
Yeah.
So they're modified trees, and you cut the post in the middle, and it takes out the whole hedge on that section.
Interesting.
I would mean David Brown, Kevin, if this wasn't a crossplay server, and I could put the David Brown mod on here.
You've seen him driving on here. Do you trust him? Hey. There's a reason, like, the majority of you content creators for Farm Sim have crash counters on your stream, so don't act like I'm the only one. I think I've done all right today. This is Ebony Island. That's the name of the map, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it is available on the mod hub.
Yeah, that's a good idea for XR to have a remote kill switch for the combine if he allows me to operate it. I don't want to say that I would, like, one time I was watching XR stream and he had like some mod that set the combine on fire. I don't want to say that that's exactly what would happen if you let me drive your combine, but I'm not saying it wouldn't be either. Is this the shed that this was parked in? Because man,
no, the other shed with the wider door.
I was about to say, I was like, is this where it was? Because I didn't have a problem getting out. Okay, yeah, it's this one. I have faith in you. That's so kind of you, XR. You know, I would love to do that for real, like one day. I've been on farms now in Kansas and Nebraska, but and I've been in tractors and combines now, but no one has ever been crazy enough to let me take the wheel. So you may be the man for that job, XR. All right. Imagine parking the cedar in the little shed and then VF can't get it out anymore. Yeah. All right, so now we're doing some mowing, correct?
Yes.
That was one. Is it this like field right here, just next to these sheds?
Yes. So it's unnumbered.
Where's the like mower and such? What am I looking for? Here's
so I would probably grab the Vultra and drop the at least drop the bag lifter off the front of it. The mower is in that shed, yeah, where the trailer is.
Okay.
And I've got to go and get a baler.
This yellow Vultra really kind of threw me off. I was like, that looks like a Vultra.
I quite like it in the yellow. I think it looks pretty sharp. I think that's the JCB yellow.
I will say it does look good. I mean, I like JCB yellow, but I've been like the last. Wasn't it like a on Twin Cam? He has like on that map. It was a remake of a map from 19 or maybe 17 actually, before John Deere was licensed in Farm Sim. So I'm pretty sure it was like a Vultra painted like it was a John Deere on that map. Maybe it was another brand. Yep. I don't remember, but
Oh no. So yeah, FS17 was when Vulture came in, wasn't it? I think.
No, I'm talking about John Deere. So it was like it was painted as a John
So
Deere.
it was the one. It was the one before. Yeah, I think John Deere came in with FS19,
Right.
and Vulture came in with FS17. So everybody basically who was on console, who wanted the John Deere, they were painting their Vultures like John Deere's.
Yeah, gotcha. So is this the only mower you have, this Perdinger right here that is jammed up against the wall?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. And I want to take the John Deere and go and grab a baler.
The Vol Deer, they called it. Yeah,
Yes.
I assume no responsibility for this, by the way. Sorry, Voltra. It's just the way of things.
Evening, Mark Craig. Robin, I've never been to Sweden. I'd love to go to Sweden because everything I've heard about it is really lovely.
Can we come to an agreement that you do your best to not get COVID before FarmCon this year, Alex?
I am going into isolation for 2 weeks before FarmCon.
Oh, man.
Actually, funny thing. So I've had to renew my passport.
Okay.
I got acknowledgement today that they've received my old passport, so they can start processing everything. It can take up to 10 weeks to get the new passport.
Okay.
10 weeks from today is 2 days before FarmCon.
He's leaving it late, everyone. He's leaving it late. All right.
So I'm
Godspeed, my friend.
I'm hoping that they really mean up to 10 weeks, because if it takes any longer than 10 weeks, I won't have a passport to go to FarmCon, and I'm going to be really, really annoyed.
It's pretty much like in the US right now, we renewed ours a couple of years ago, like well ahead of schedule. Like we didn't really need to renew them right then because we weren't planning to do any trips. But I want to say that we did it even after I got the job, because I was like, well, I know I'm going to travel to Europe at least once a year now for work.
Yeah.
So like we went ahead and renewed them, and back then it wasn't as bad in the US as it is now. I'm pretty sure that like right now, if you want to sign up for a passport, it's pretty much like you'll get it, who knows, like that's the time frame right now. Like they're so behind just from like COVID layoffs and things like that. So I'm really glad that I have mine. So fair warning to any of you in the US, if you are planning to come to FarmCon and you've not thought about your passport, make sure it's going to be valid and for any country really. And if it's not going to be valid, you might want to get on that.
I mean, Mark's right. He said, you know, it takes about 2 weeks, and yeah, I know people who have got it back within a week, but it's just that whole thing of reading it and them going, it could take up to 10 weeks, and I'm going, how soon is FarmCon?
Right.
So yeah. But yeah, it rarely takes that long. I mean, I think my mother renewed it a couple of months ago, and it took like a week.
That's
to do it. I'm not too worried, and I've managed to. So I got my brothers coming with me, so both of us are.
Watch out, Germany.
And we've got gold tickets. I was very happy. So I thought all the gold tickets had sold out. I thought I'd missed my chance, and went on there a couple of days later, and I think some more must have been released.
Yeah, it's. I think that we were kind of blown away by like how quick they disappeared. I personally, I didn't know how many we had available, but I knew that it would be super popular because it's a unique opportunity. And so a lot of people were going to be keen to take part. But yeah, they didn't last more than like 3 hours, because I remember talking to Farm Sim guy, and he had missed out initially too. But yeah, they did come back up. Basically, there was like an introductory price for the first batch, and then we added more, and the cost is higher to get them, but at least you can get them again.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So yeah, I got us both those, and I got the flights and everything, and the hotel's booked. The hotel is I got really pleased with the hotel. It's about a 5-minute walk from the venue.
Cool.
And I think I got the last room in it when I booked.
Really?
Yeah. It was one of those crazy things where I went, oh, there's one room left, and I am grabbing that right now.
That's good.
45,000. We'll go for the classic.
Are they still available?
class
That's a good
gold.
question, Renegade. I'm not sure if the gold tickets are still on there or not. I don't ever remember hearing that like they were all gone again, but I also was like at PAX and then on vacation for a couple of weeks, and I've been back a week and a half now, and I feel like I'm still trying to catch up on everything. No trees have been harmed during the stream yet. Indeed, not yet. There's still time. So this mower is a little bit funky at times. Like sometimes it is waiting.
No, it's the field that's funky.
Okay. Because sometimes it like waits and it like dumps it all in one giant pile instead of like as I go.
Yeah, so that is a former cow pasture.
Okay.
And where it refuses to dump stuff is where the feeding troughs were.
Oh, okay.
So I think it's still I think it's still thinking that I can't dump grass there for some reason.
Gotcha.
Cavalier Roy, yes, I saw the mud mod. It looks really interesting. Are you going to add it? Oh, I suppose we can't add it on here anyway. Are you going to add it to your maps? Because we would use it on here, but this is crossplay, so we can't put scripts on. I keep forgetting.
Hey, Camo. Hello, everyone on YouTube and Twitch. Also on VF's channel over there. VF has put me to work. If you're just joining, I planted some sorghum. Or Milo, if you prefer. And then now I'm cutting some grass. So how long have you been playing on this server, on this map now, Alex?
So so this is still our first year, and we're up to May. So we start in August, so August, September, October, November, December, January, February, March, April, May. So 10 weeks.
Okay, cool.
We had a break sort of over Christmas. We had a was it over Christmas? We had our previous server developed a fault, or the save got corrupted. And
bummer.
so we had to move from that, and sort of had about a month or two's break between switches.
Gotcha.
Farmulator Gaming. I have a David Brown in Farm Sim. There's actually a half decent David Brown mod out there at the moment. Which, if you want to grab it, is there is a link on my Discord in the recommend a mod.
Here comes another pyramid of grass coming up. There it is. It's funny because it lets me mow like full speed as well, nearly, like, or at least double the normal speed. It made me miss this bit because of that pyramid. I can't accept this.
So I've got a question in my chat. Is my real name Alex? For that, you need to watch the FSL streams.
I'm showing your avatar on screen today. I'm calling you Alex. I'm just unveiling all kinds of secrets.
Uh,
The Great Pyramids of
it
Kerm.
was, it's amazing. It's one of those things which I've never really tried to hide.
Right.
And then we did the farming simulator tournament, or what was it called originally?
Championship.
Before it was the episode.
Was that what it
Championship. So we did the FSL, the farming simulator championship, and the guys turned to me and went, "Oh, do you mind if we put your real name up on the stream?" And I went, "Yeah, that's fine." And so no, I don't want my real name up on screen. I don't want anybody to know my real name. I'm kind of going, somebody's going to find out.
Right.
You know, it's at some point.
I even had that
Something.
same discussion as like an employee of Giants when I started streaming for the company. Like someone was like, "Are you sure you're okay with your real name being on there?" I was like, "But like, it's not like everyone at the company is going by like a screen name anyways. Like everyone else is going by their real name." And I am fine with it. Like I want people to know my real name because it's not a secret. Like if you go out there and look like at LinkedIn, or you look at like Giant Software's website or whatever, like you'll probably be able to see it anyways. But yeah, I'm more than happy to have it.
I have enough of other social media presences and things that you don't have to look too far to find it. So
right,
yeah.
Well, that is true too, Hendrik. Like, it's an easy to remember name. That's also like a curse because then I forget everyone else's name, and when I meet them the first time and they remember mine, and then I see them again and they're like, "Hey, Kermit," and I'm like, "Hey, dude, what's up?"
That's a new I know. Why am I not windrowing? Because the mower has a built-in windrower. I mean, it's only a single row, and it's not very, But my thought, if it creates piles, if I have a mower that creates piles like this, and I go round with the windrower, I'm just going round the field one extra time. Which is what would happen mowing, baling up this. So it doesn't actually save you any time if I get a small windrower and windrow all this up. I might as well just bale it.
So I currently don't have any more of these multiplayer streams scheduled, but that's because I had done the scheduling all the way up until right around like PAX, slightly after. So I did it for like the first 4 months of the year, basically doing like a quarter of the year at a time. So now I've started scheduling. We have a spotlight next week, and then another couple in May as well that are on the schedule. But as of right now, no multiplayer stream is scheduled, but I do have a long list of people that I could reach out to for that. But next week we'll have Omatana on the spotlight, which is going to be a lot of fun for me because I got to meet her at FarmCon last year, but more importantly than that, I've been using her mods in FarmSim for years now. And so it'll be cool to have her on the spotlight and be able to feature another mod creator. She does stream as well, but yeah, we haven't had quite enough modders on the spotlight. We had Ola about a month or so ago. We've had 82 Studio on before, but definitely want to get more and more modders on the spotlight this year.
Yeah, Ola's been in a couple of my map making streams and been giving me some pointers and sort of shoving me in the right direction when I need to, when my lack of map making knowledge shows.
Yeah, that's fair though. That's what I love about this community though. Like whether it's content creation or mod creation. Like people are so willing to like help you out and tell you what they've learned by like Ola has experience. You even have experience. Like your real life job is in software development, like a little bit different than creating a physical model or a map, I'm sure. But like
Yeah.
you know, people are willing to share their experience and expertise and tell you like how they learned how to do things, and it's really cool to see. Are there any game dev Q&As planned? If you're talking like similar to the Platinum dev stream that we did, not exactly, but I would expect one again for the expansion coming out late in the year. It doesn't really make sense to do them for like the individual packs, unless there's something like really new and special, other than equipment coming that like is, you know, really cool to talk about. For Platinum, for example, on Silver Run, we had, you know, the new water textures and the new technology to populate the trees that exist in that map that hadn't been done before by us in a base game, or really some of it by anyone in a mod or anything. So yeah, I would expect one for that expansion. It's going to be really cool. Some cool stuff coming to it. Maybe some stuff like around FarmCon too, but I don't know exactly for sure yet or not. The problem is it's a lot easier to get people like VirtualFarmer and mod creators and content creators on these streams than it is even my colleagues, because you know, Alex has a day job, but his content as VirtualFarmer is like another job for him, right? So he's living it almost daily. Whereas like my colleagues, they've got a lot of work to do. We've got a lot more still to come. So it's tougher to find the time and schedule it, but I'm all for it. I would love to start doing more of that too. And also though, like distance is kind of a challenge for me, being one of the 2 U.S. office employees and everyone else existing in offices in Europe. If I were able to see these people in person and do a live stream with them in person, I think it'd be easier to coordinate too.
And FarmCon, of course, gives opportunities for doing things like that. So, makes sense for things like that to be more around there anyway. Later, Robin.
You don't need it. You have a code already. Richard, I would prefer if like you gave it away like in a different way than doing it like that. I appreciate the gesture. But maybe like in someone else's stream, I'd like to see, you know, VirtualFarmer or someone else be able to like give that back to their community more specifically than in here. All right, so we have been live for about an hour and 20 minutes. This is normally like the point where I'd start wrapping up, but because we were a little bit late getting started, I'll go over a bit. I don't know if I'll finish this field or not. In fact, I need to start going the other direction now. All right, thanks, Richard. The live podcasts were fun. We've talked about bringing something similar back, like at least the Q&A bit, but we stopped doing those because we started to like feel and get some feedback that maybe some of the things we talked about wouldn't stand the test of time. So like in a podcast format, you really want to be able to create content that if you listen to it tomorrow, a year from now, 5 years from now, it can still have something of value and make sense. Whereas if we're talking about like stuff coming to the game, you know, if you listen to that even in like 2 months, maybe it's been patched and changed. So it's a bit tougher when you're talking about stuff that is kind of more fluid and in motion when it comes to a game. Mow a bit of that field FSL style should help the stream end to just miss a bunch.
No.
You just, I
My
think,
OCD's bad enough during an FSL stream.
you just gave Alex like a minor aneurysm, I think.
Oh, man.
uh, that was amazing. Instantly, no.
No.
Oh man. I would do that if there was also a moat for me to throw myself in to hide from Alex once I did it. Sorry, not sorry. Oh man, too good, too good.
Oh.
Trust me, if there's anyone who wants merch available in more countries, especially the US, more than you, it's me. I'm trying. We're trying. It's not as easy as just like, saying, okay, let's do it. Like, agreements have to be made that make sense for us and whoever is going to distribute it and produce it for us in these other countries. So all I can say is, like, be patient, and hopefully it'll come as soon as possible. I don't have... I'm not involved in those discussions, so I'm not sure.
I've just realised my merch link has come up. That's shit worldwide.
There you go. You can get VF merch right now. I have to be honest, when you told me everything that we were going to do today, I was like, there's no way we're getting that done in this stream. But I think we're gonna. I was picturing an American map in my head, I think is the problem.
Yeah, I have a much smaller farm.
Yeah.
My farms are much, much smaller. Well, it's normally because I tend to do most of my stuff solo. Even on the multiplayer server, we have multiple farms, so everybody does their own farm. It's not so much. I do have some help on here, but it's normally I tend to work my farm on my own. So, yeah, my farm is never very big because I get on here once a week, and I need to be able to manage all of that in sort of a 2-3 hour stream. So,
this is going to be interesting. Starting this pass where this pyramid of grass is, I think I can pull it off. You're playing on a half-scale map, Camo? That's cool.
Oh, I got stuck.
Well, I know VF will be there. I think Derp has talked about being at FarmCon this year. Tornado.
Are we talking English specifically, or?
I think Tornado's in England somewhere.
Yeah. Trying to think. Because that's the thing. I try and think of British creators specifically. And I suppose I don't know if CLP is going to be there this year.
Yeah, I've not talked to him about it, whether he will or not.
I think he was talking about it at one point, but I don't know if he's still planning to go.
Derp will be there if his Jag is still alive.
Oh yeah, because Derp's driving out there, isn't he? See, that's a long way to drive.
Yeah, that's just driving through Texas. It's not that bad. Probably not even. I wonder how long of a drive it will be for him.
You know what? That's not going to be more than a day. It's gonna be what, 16, 17 hours maybe at most.
July 1st and 2nd at the Deutz Fahr Arena in Lauingen, Germany. I just sounded exactly like I did in the video I did for the announcement. I
Oh,
feel like.
speaking of which, they switched up the intro video for the FSL this weekend.
Yeah.
We were talking about, oh, you know, you're still gonna hear Kermit, he'll still be doing the intro video and everything, and then it wasn't you.
Yeah. I think that was Kenny's dad, potentially. I came up with the script and like did like the sample audio, and then I was at PAX, and so they found someone else to do it. But that's cool with me.
Yeah, no, it was more than it was. Oh, that's not Kermit.
XR, I would love to see you there, man. I'm working on a plan right now to like do something cool for English speakers that will be there. So I can't really talk about it because it's just in the early stages, and so we'll see if it ends up happening. But I would love to see people there, get to hang out with you. But it is a long way to go. We can also I definitely need to come see you on your farm in Ohio one day and go get some Scooter's pizza. All right, man, we're gonna make it. I'm just gonna pretty much call the stream after I finish mowing here, BF.
And then all I need to do is get everything wrapped, which is fine because I don't normally start streaming till about now. So
fair. How much longer will you be live tonight?
I will probably get all of this wrapped up and taken off the field.
Gotcha.
And I might, if I have the time, roll this as well. Because then it's ready for next time. And that way we can get 4 cuts of silage out of it this year, and not just 3.
Dennis K, I'm not sure where you're from, but yeah, last year there were translators at least, so those there, I think they had it in French, Spanish, and English translations. This year it's gonna be a little bit different, so it might have to be basically that like there's only gonna be German and English potentially, and not those other languages, but we'll see what ends up happening. Again, I can't really say too much else because it's still just early stages at this point.
10 weeks to go. Hey, Organ Trees Gaming, welcome along. Oh, I haven't told you actually on a non-farm sim thing. What I'm doing on Monday.
Okay.
I'm throwing myself out of a plane.
Oh, really?
I'm going. My wife bought
with
me
a parachute.
skydiving. Yes, bought me a skydive for Christmas.
Oh, nice. Okay.
So,
will it be your first time?
Skydiving on Monday. Yeah, I have never thrown myself out of a plane before.
Okay. He has been thrown out of one before, though. That's what he's not telling us. That's cool, man. I hope you have fun.
I was planning on trying to see if I could get some footage of it and stick it up on the YouTube channel, maybe.
Yes, please do that, and please, as you're dropping from the high in the sky, shout as loud as you can, "Hello and welcome along." Amazing. Yeah, I hope you have fun. I've never done that. I've thought about doing it before, but I've never done it.
It was originally it was a plan that myself and Rainbow Dave were going to do it, and the plan was whichever one of us got to 100,000 subscribers on YouTube first, The other was going to travel to them, and we were both going to skydive. I am, I am still a way off 100,000 subscribers, and Rainbow Dave's now over on Twitch.
Gotcha. Gotcha. So Noref on YouTube said, "Oh no, is your wife not pleased with you?" Via? And then also a suggestion that you should skydive into FarmCon.
Oh God, I am not James Bond.
Yeah. Okay. All right, everyone. Thanks for putting me to work, Alex. Usually I wouldn't like to leave a job unfinished, but I'm short on time here. So, and I have full confidence that you'll be just fine without me to get the wrapping done and such. So, thanks again for having me on with you and your community on your server. Really cool thing that you're doing on this community server, and it's always nice for me to get to play a little bit more Farm Sim. So I appreciate you, man.
It has been a pleasure as always, Kermit. Thank you very much for having me on. I have enjoyed it immensely.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Good catching up with you as well, and I'm sure that I'll be talking to you again very soon. All right?
Yes,
talk to you soon, Alex, and everyone over on his stream. Catch you next time. Have a good one. Enjoy.
Later.
All right, everyone in stream. Just before we go, some parting words. Basically, a reminder of the streams coming up. So next week, we have Omatana on the Spotlight. Then on May 3rd, we have The Guru. I said a bit ago that I didn't have any more multiplayer streams scheduled, and that's kind of true because it won't be... It's a different type of multiplayer because Bexters, who is a content creator for Nitrado, she was on the Spotlight last week. On May 17th, we're doing a Nitrado and Giants multiplayer session together. So we'll be playing on a server, maybe getting some other people involved as well on the 17th. And then on the 24th of May, we have Simulation for the Nation as the guest on the Spotlight. And then that's all I have scheduled for the time being, but there'll be more to come as well, of course, in the future. Yeah, thanks for hanging out, everyone. Before we go completely, I just want to see if there is anyone... VF is on YouTube today, so we can't rate him on Twitch. I think we're just going to leave it for today as is. But yeah, that's kind of like the schedule coming up. And of course, like Farming Simulator 23 is out on iOS, Android, and Nintendo Switch on May 23rd. So we have more of that to come. I saw earlier multiple messages about, seeing more of that game. Of course, in the weeks to come leading up to launch, you'll see more of it. There's no doubt in my mind for that. And also, we've got the rest of the DLC, the rest of the packs, the expansion coming this year. FarmCon, Alex is counting it down. He told you all 10 weeks away. We'll have a lot to announce during that. So a lot of news will be coming out then, early July 1st and 2nd. Lots more still to come. Yeah, that's it for today, though, and we'll catch you next time. For now, keep being awesome, everyone. All right, see you next week for the Spotlight with Omatana. Same time, same channels.